Hello and welcome to Across the Pond Aces. I am back. Jasmine is back. And you've been at some games and we're going to talk about them, sadly. It's not been the greatest week for the Aces. I think we predicted we'd lose one game out of the four. It didn't quite go down as that. However, I still think there's optimism for some of the performances that we've seen
Yeah.
that weren't terrible. So there is some optimism, and it's funny. Well, I'll throw this out just now. I seen a it was the Aces group on Facebook. I seen this thing that just said, "Just you wait till the point guard is back," and I was like, "Yes, yes, that's it." To be fair, Michelle Snow, who I recorded with the other
Hey,
day,
she cleared.
yeah, everyone's like this. Point guard, it's coming back.
Mhm.
It's
She was warm
coming.
she was warming up during the Liberty game. Granted, she didn't play, but
Well, you sent me a video the other day, and like with her in the huddles and talking to players and stuff,
yeah.
from the press box, which I love. Like I love that we have you in the press box and at the press conferences and stuff, which is cool. We've got a couple of videos coming up later on that we'll show you as well. So it's pretty awesome to have someone there in the arena for all the home games. So again, big shout out to the Aces for giving us that access. It's very much appreciated. But it's not uh, it's not been the best of weeks, sadly. Um, it I mean, what do you say? I mean, I was hopeful. Like, I really genuinely was hopeful that, this would be a good week and we could kind of like move on and get over that kind of I wouldn't even call it a stumbling block, but we started out against the Sparks, and that game was just a couple hours after we were recording. And I think we were both well, you were of the opinion, look, if the performance doesn't improve,
Yeah.
we're gonna get beat by the Sparks.
Yeah.
And what did you make of the performance?
It was better than the last game, but it was still some of those pieces like rebounding is our defense is was really killing us right now in every single game. Um it's not it. It's not getting the job done at all. And of course, like offense is like trying to figure out who where the ball is going pretty much. It's like who hands is the ball is gonna be in. I think that's our issue right now is trying to navigate who's getting the ball. Because that Spurs game, that first quarter, well, it was a nice first quarter for the Spurs
Mhm.
game.
Yeah.
But after that, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and I think that's the same for most of the games, this last week.
Sadly.
Now we did keep Cameron Brink to 8 points.
Yeah.
Like, I see that as a massive positive. Derek Hamby, obviously, with 18, Ria McDonald with 16, along with, Ricky, Jackson as well. So, like, they had good performances, but you still have Asia Wilson, and Asia Wilson does Asia Wilson things and
Mhm.
scores 31. Then you've got
Mhm.
Plum with 24, and the new girl that just turned up, Tiffany Hayes. "Yeah, I'm just gonna add 17 to this off the bench."
Oh, she had a
But
nice game that game.
yeah, Kate Martin started her first WNBA game in this one.
She did pretty darn good.
She did. You know what I like? Like, she fights. Like, she's
Yeah.
not there to make up the numbers, so to speak. She is there and she puts in a shift like every time I see her on the floor, which is great. So Tiffany Hayes did play like 27 minutes, and Megan Gustafsson 10. We did see Kia Stokes back in the starting lineup, but again, just with 2 points, and I think and two rebounds, by the way. Like three, five, sorry, three rebounds. She had one offensive and two defensive. And I think from your center, from your five, you need more.
I don't know what's going on with her. I really don't. I just wanna just, shake her up a little bit and tell her, "Hey, come on, get we need you." Like, we need you. Like, why are you not shooting? I said this last time too. It's like, we need you. We need you to
We do.
score. And it's like Meg and I was just telling someone at the game. I was like, well, we can't have. I was like, well, it'd be nice if Megan and Kia would be one player.
Yeah, that would be nice. Be nice for a salary cap as well.
Yeah, because it's like, come on, we need. It's like one rebounding on doing good on defense, and the other one is scoring. So
Yeah.
I guess we can't have both, apparently.
It's a tough game. A tough loss, I think, as well. But I do think that the performance was way better
Oh
than the
yeah,
previous game, which is
absolutely.
something. However, we then came home, and someone who myself and Michelle spoke about this week was Nafisa Collier
Yes.
and Minnesota, and how what a great job they're doing. They have Courtney Williams as well on that team.
Mhm.
But I think I said this last week. They're a very well built team. They have really good balanced team across the board. And they showed that in this game massively. They had all starters in double digits for points. And they all had about similar numbers in rebounds. They all
Mhm.
had similar-ish numbers in assists and in steals and in turnovers. But like I look at us and I'm just like, so you've got Asia with 28.
Mhm.
As always, you've got Kelsey with 13. Jackie Young's coming back off illness. So she's obviously not at 100% going into this game. But rebounding, Kia Stokes turned up in this game and would rebound, and she had
Yeah.
9 total, which was good. But again, like, it's Gustafsson that's getting the points coming in
Yep.
off the bench.
Yeah. I that Minnesota game, like we both said, like they Minnesota is a that team is a really good team. The pieces that they were missing last season, they have them this season, and that was a tough game. I wasn't expecting us to lose. I had us
No,
winning that game. I had us winning that game, and they played way better basketball than we did.
that's the thing. Like, I think the performance there was almost a regression. We lost to the Sparks, but I think the performance was better. But this time around, I kind of felt like the performance kind of tailed off again, and it's something that I've worried about for a couple of years now, because you see these third quarters. If you go back over last year's game and the year before, if you look at those third quarters, they are shockingly bad. Some of them,
Yeah.
and I feel like now we're going in now. I know in the fourth quarter we did play slightly better, but it was the second quarter that killed us. They scored 30 to our 17, and that killed it. And then obviously they came into the third, won that 19-12. So coming into the fourth, I mean, we got some garbage time minutes that, makes the score look a bit more
Yeah.
presentable, if you like, but still, it's a 14-point loss. It's not a blowout. It's a 14-point loss, and it is not nice to see.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, the fans were upset as well. Like we all just like you just it sucks because it's like 2 minutes into the game at fourth quarter, 2 minutes, you seeing everybody just like, all right, let's go. And
Yeah.
but the crazy thing is the arena was still so loud because it's like we got a chance. There's still a lot of time left on the clock. There's still a lot we could do. Try to give our girls some encouragement. Try to lift them up. But I mean, yeah,
No, not pretty. Again, like Alicia Clark, she does a lot defensively, but like there's no points going on the board. You've got Kia Stokes who can't score, and Jackie Young just coming back off of being ill. So she only gets 6 points. And this was the thing last year. We had 4 scorers on the floor all the time,
all the
plus
time.
plus Kia Stokes. And I'm kinda like, but I think this year, what's different is we have scorers on the bench, which we didn't have last year. So I do think that when Chelsea comes back, like, and Jackie's 100%, I think she's probably 100% now, but, like, once Jackie's back, full fitness, I do think when we go back to having those 4 players on,
Yeah,
I do think that scoring will go up. I think confidence as well. But then when you can bring in players like Kate Martin, Megan Gustafsson, Tiffany Hayes, suddenly we look real good scoring, I think, both on our main starting 5 and our second unit.
yeah, I agree. I think that's what I feel like we need to utilize more is our bench because our bench is what's honestly keeping us in this game right now. Because like I've been saying this whole season so far, Sid has been changing the game. Like the pace of the game when she's in is it's like she's taking she's getting people the ball pretty much. She's setting the tone. The pace is a little bit slower because when you got KP and Jackie, they're just running and going, 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 and a lot of passes is going on. Yes, but controlling the floor, Sid does that when she's on the floor.
Yeah, she really does, and she kinda it's almost as if she slows the game down,
Hmm.
which is kinda nice. She does it really well. Now we come into Phoenix, and there's a few changes. There's a few names that suddenly pop up. So Kirsten Bell suddenly shows up on the box score, as does Chelsea Gray. And I think this the video you oh, no, it would have been Minnesota that you sent the video of
Yeah, I
Chelsea.
think.
And, I mean, in that video, I mean, Chelsea's up, and it's funny you took that video because I think a week before, Michelle had said to me, like, "You look at Chelsea and what she does off the floor, sometimes that's just as important as what she does on the floor in terms of that leadership role." She is and Becky said this, the second coach almost. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's phenomenal. Now, sadly, Kate Martin didn't play too much in this game. Neither did
yeah.
Megan. Sydney did. She played nearly 18 minutes. Tiffany Hayes, good game from her as well. And this is where I think Jackie maybe felt a bit better because she scored 34 points. I
Yeah,
was like, Jesus, somebody put like some of Bugs Bunny special stuff in her drink.
yeah. The
Uh,
the the secret Mike's secret stuff.
Mike's secret stuff. That's it. And then you look at Alicia Clark, still single digit points, still 3 turnovers. But again, like it's her numbers that don't show up in a box score that are important. It's that niggling away as a defender,
Yep.
being in people's faces that keep her in the starting lineup. Asia Wilson with 32 and 15 rebounds. Kelsey Plum, 16 points. And again, few rebounds, few assists. And then we come to Kia Stokes. And I I don't know why she's on the floor in this game. I mean, I know she's going up against Brittany Griner. Like, and Brittany Griner is on form this year. But still, 0 points, 2 rebounds. I'm sorry, but 2 rebounds, that's just I really like Kia, but I really need her to start, like,
We
eh
all like Kia. We just need her to get it together. I don't know what she needs to do to get focused, but she need to do it. Because it's
she
even like fans in the comments is like say, "Hey, why Emma getting waived? They need to be waving Kia." And it's like, yeah, but she did some good work last season. I don't know what's going on right now.
she was playing better last season, that I mean, that's for sure. I wouldn't say scoring-wise she was doing better last year, I think she's
Yeah,
she's probably on the same, but I think defensively and rebounding, I think she
it was
was
better.
she
Yeah,
was better. if you look at Phoenix Mercury, um, I mean, you just talk about Brittany Griner and Deanna Taurasi, two people who are going to the Olympics, and with good reason. Deanna Taurasi scores 22, Brittany Griner with 25, Griner with like 9 rebounds, Deanna Taurasi
Yeah.
4 assists. I like how they bring in Natasha Cloud, and they almost play like a small ball,
Mhm.
which is nice, and it does work for them. And especially when you've got someone like Brittany who's so dominant inside.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they were formidable. I mean, we win this game, and it's weird because this is the game I kind of worried about. This
Ye
was the game
yeah,
of
that's the game.
of what I was like, oh, don't know about this.
Yep, that was the game. He was like, "Yeah, we might lose that one."
Yeah, this was the iffy one. Like I thought we'd be like 2-0 by this point, and we're end up 0-2 going in. We come out
Oh,
the one 103 to 99,
yeah,
and I think it just shows like the 3rd quarter we managed to really level things out and not give away a massive point spread.
yeah,
The We didn't start well. Like, let's be honest, it was 28-12 in the 1st quarter, so we didn't start great.
no.
But that 2nd quarter, obviously sorry, not Emma, Becky obviously like kicked somebody up the butt because like 42 points in
42?
the
Yeah,
2nd quarter. I was like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's when Jackie drank MJ's special stuff. I don't know, but ah, it's it, but it's a phenomenal performance, and this is what I mean about performances. Like some teams can play out of their absolute skin and still lose
yeah,
because just the other team's been better, or they've had a bit more luck on their side, or maybe calls are getting called correctly.
yeah,
And I just feel like this performance was a typical performance of last year. Plus, you have the bench. You have Tiffany Hayes coming in, Sydney Colson, and I just feel. I mean, Kate Martin didn't even take a shot in this game. She actually has 0 stats other than minutes.
her
Um,
defense.
but her again, she's kind of a little bit like Alicia Clark. She's an agitator on defense, and she will get in
Yeah,
people's faces and make sure that she's not giving anything up. So I think the tangibles that don't get the on the box score, I think she's good, and I think again that's why she's there. That's why they kept her
yeah.
on as a rookie. Now I did see a stupid comment online, so let's get this one out. It said, and it was in a WNBA fan group. I'm not going to even tell anyone the person's name, mostly because I can't remember it because it wasn't that important. But it said, "Why didn't Becky do better in the draft this year?" And I'm like, dude, you win the WNBA championship. You do not get the first pick in the draft. You get the last pick in the first round. Like, get a grip of yourself. And then the person that we do draft, Kate Martin, we've kept on, who is the first rookie in 4 years, 3 or 4 years that we've kept. I think was Kelsey the first. I think Kelsey was the last one that we have kept on. And I'm like, get a grip of yourself, man. Because like this is just getting beyond a joke. It's like, and I think it was one of these digs because obviously there's a lot going on
Yeah,
about Caitlin Clark and about how they've drafted. But like, I mean, you even look at Chicago tonight. Like they drafted two, not one,
two,
but
two.
two players that are going to be freaking awesome in this league for a long time. Angel Reese and Cardosa. And by the way, I watched their game tonight against Indiana.
They so good together.
They are. There's definitely a match up there that's gonna be there for a long time. But yeah, I just it's a stupid comment. I don't know why people make these comments. Like know your history. Like go actually I mean, I don't know if this person actually went back and looked, but we won the last 2 years.
Oh,
buddy.
yeah. Then you got Kelsey number 1 pick, Asia number 1 pick, and then you got Jackie too. So it's like, what are you saying?
Yeah, it's just stupid, absolutely stupid. Um, I don't know if the person doesn't know how the draft works. I don't know, like, but we traditionally don't keep rookies over the last couple of years. That's just not happened. And Kate Martin, we've kept. And look at the number. Like, if you go through the draft and you look at like what probably six above,
Yeah.
there's no one else. They're gone. Like they didn't even make their teams.
I think they said it was 13 out of the 36 that stayed.
36 players drafted, 13 stayed. That's not a big number. And that's typical of the WNBA. Like that's not a new thing. Next year, obviously, we have a new team, the Bay Area team, the Golden State Valkyries, and then the year after that, we have the Toronto team.
Yeah.
And then I think there's hope for Boston the year after that. I think we're going to add a team every year for the next four
Every year,
years.
which would be
Uh,
smart.
but then I think they stop it for a couple of years, let things settle down, and then we go again. But yeah. So, anyways, stupid comments aside. Um, myself and Michelle did this thing where we picked our Olympic team, and Sammy Jordan had put this on one of the Facebook groups on the WNBA, and I thought this is a great idea. You have to pick 12 players, but you can only pick one player from each WNBA team, which sounds easy. It really does. But then when you get into it, you're kind of like, oh, this is actually quite tough. I mean, some teams are easier than others. I have to
Yeah.
say, like, and I think me and Michelle kind of agreed on a couple. So if you want to check out my picks, go listen to Across the Pond WNBA with me and Michelle. But I liked my picks. I liked my team. I think Michelle was a little jealous. Probably not.
So,
But let's hear your team. Like I'm interested to see who your team would do. I'm hoping that
yeah.
we get this on Across the Pond Liberty as well, because I think again this would be quite an interesting way to go. But let's go with you first. Now let's go with your obviously the most important pick of them all. Your aces pick.
So this one was one of the ones that was pretty hard. I did Aja, of course, because that's the GOAT. You gotta go with the GOAT. Gotta go with the GOAT.
Gotta
And
go there.
plus, I mean, it's Aja.
Yeah, it's Asia. I mean, be silly not to. Who was your Atlanta Dream pick?
Oh, I did Howard.
That's a good call. Like, I mean, it's a very good call to be fair. Now this was one that was a little controversial. Indiana Fever.
Leah Boston. I need a big.
Mm.
I need a big. Need somebody that's gonna help age out. So and then I mean, and where Ryan Howard, I mean, could play either forward or guard, so
Mm.
that go either. So that's where I'm going.
Well, this is the thing, because me and Michelle did have discuss that you do have to. You can't just take the best player from each team because then you're not going to have a very well balanced team potentially. So no, I like where you went with that. A team that I found tough to pick from was the New York Liberty.
Yeah, that was the one that was where I was like, but then I was like, well, you already got Asia, you got Howard, you got Boston, right? I was like, well, I need a guard, so I went with Sabrina.
Hmm, interesting. Uh, I think the Minnesota Lynx was an easy one for
Oh
me.
yeah, I went with Fee.
Yeah, yeah. Fisa Collier, without a doubt. I mean, that was no question. Another team that was a little tricky though was the Phoenix Mercury.
So this one had me in a pickle.
You lose sleep over this one?
I did because of course DT is my favorite player, so of course you would think I would pick DT just because. But and then you got BG, so I'm like, oh, you need a big, we need a vet, but then I was like, Copper.
Oh, okay.
So my pick was between BG and Copper. I had Copper at first over BG, but I was like, well, I went down a list and I went back after I picked everybody. I went back and I switched it from Copper to BG, and you will find out why in the next couple picks. But
Okay.
I needed a vet,
Yeah.
and
No,
it's
makes
just
sense.
somebody with some height, and of course with BG skill, yeah, we need it.
Wow, okay. Another
Yeah,
kinda tough team, and only because they're not really playing that well, so it's kinda hard to pick
this
someone out.
this
The Washington Mystics.
this one's actually pretty easy for me. Um, I went with Austin, Shakira Austin. I've been watching her since she was in college, so
Uh,
I know her game. I Washington, I kept up with Washington last season just because Natasha Cloud is on there. So
yeah.
of course EDD, yeah, her too. So Shakira Austin. That was to me that was like the easiest one out of all of them so far. Well,
So
besides Minnesota.
there was a little controversy on Across the Pond WNBA where Michelle selected, and I'll give this one away to see how controversial our picks were. She went, like, totally off the reservation and picked Elena Delle Donne.
See, I was gonna, and you know what? When I saw that, I was like, why didn't I think of that? Because she's still on the list. She's just on the injured list.
Yeah,
I was like she's smart.
that was I couldn't believe it when I got told that one. I was like, "Can't," like, and then I started to worry about the rest of the picks, that she had. Uh, we get players that, like, because on, like, ESPN Fantasy and stuff, like, they have
Yeah,
they still have Sue Bird listed as a player that you can pick, which I find absolutely bemusing, but never mind. Up next, again, a tough call, Chicago Sky.
this one was pretty hard. I was torn. But this is why I picked BG. And I went with Cardoso. I was like, we need a rookie, a fresh face to learn. I need a big that's another big that's gonna help Aaliyah Boston in the way her footwork and how fast she is and how she's scoring. Yeah, give me give me Cardoso.
So I do have some bad news for you. You can't have her.
I know. That's why I was like, give it to her. But I went with Reese.
You went with Reese. Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
that I know because she.
She's
I was
Brazilian.
like, yeah, I was like, that would have been my pick. But I was like, I can't have her. So I went with Reese, and I was like, I wanted a rookie on there that be able to
I
feed off, and it was both of them that would be able to feed off of BG and learn, and be able to help Aaliyah Boston. So
I know. I felt for you because, like, when I looked, and there's a couple of picks where you could go to a player, but unfortunately that player is not American, or is
or
American but
plant,
plays for another country. Uh,
yeah.
however that works. Yeah, it was a tough one. What about your LA Sparks pick?
Oh, that one was easy. That one went Hamby.
Yeah, I mean that was
Yeah.
again like if you were going to go down the collegiate route, you could look at Cameron Brink, who has been involved, but she's playing in the 3v3 tournament, so
Yep.
she's kind of spoken for in that regard as well. What about your Seattle Storm pick?
So this one I was kind of torn too. My normal pick would, of course, would have been Skylar Diggins. But just because she's just now getting back, she's getting into things. Joy Lloyd is my go to. That'll
Yeah,
be the one that I'll go with.
yeah. Skylar Diggins Smith was someone I had on my brain to pick. I think Joe Lloyd has played phenomenal last year on a terrible team. Like it was a rebuilding team, let's be honest, that Seattle had. So I kind of had to give it to her on that basis.
Yeah.
Not Skylar's fault that Skylar didn't get to
No.
play last year. There's obviously some controversy around that, but yeah, I wasn't really into that. Another team that could be tough. I think this is probably the last of the tough teams is the Connecticut Sun.
Yeah, I went with Bonner. That
You
one was
went
tough for
Bonner.
me, but I went with Bonner.
You went with Bonner.
Yeah.
If you want someone tough inside who's just uh, yeah. No, Bonner I like a lot, as well. Dallas Wings, now obviously there's Satu who would probably be on most people's lists, and actually was on a lot of people's lists, 'cause I don't think people realize she's playing for Germany.
Yep.
So good luck with that.
I said, "Nope, you can't have her, guys." But this one, I saw my whole list. I thought about chemistry, everything, who will play good with who, and but that was to me that was the easiest pick. Gotta represent my hometown, so I went with Enrique.
Not a bad pick at all, to be perfectly honest. It's a good exercise actually, because it kind of makes you go and look at the other teams and think about, oh, who's actually on those teams.
Yeah,
Um, and like when you've got the Aces who have 4 spots, like we have four spots on that team, that Olympic team. So you take 3 of them away, and you need to fill them with someone.
yep.
So I mean, I don't think we picked anyone that was quite as good as them, but uh, that's just bias because we're Aces fans. But no, I think that's it's quite a fun
Now this
task.
was fun. The hardest one was my starting 5. That was probably, like, the hardest one. Like, to
Really?
pick that was to pick who would start. I was torn because now I'm thinking about, alright, so we got our bigs, who's gonna be good on defense, who's gonna be good at blocks, who's gonna be able to shoot the ball, who's gonna navigate the floor, and the chemistry wise. So I all that was tough.
So what does your starting 5 look like?
So I got Aja. I did Aja, Fee, BG, Jewel, and Sabrina. Now, Jewel and Sabrina, it was pretty tough because I actually had Enrique and Howard starting because them 2 together are actually they play really, really good together. Like, you would think they've been playing forever if you saw them play together. So that was I was gonna put them 2 together, but I was like, but you need somebody to be able to actually control the floor, and so that's why I went with Jewel and Sabrina because I think they'd be good together.
I think it's a formidable team that would win the gold. Now you know what mine and Michelle's teams look
Uh-huh.
like.
Yeah, my team beating both y'all team.
Oh,
Michelle, if you listening, my starting 5 is killing your starting
oh.
5.
I like how all 3 of us have got Asia starting though.
Yeah,
Like, I think
should have told.
that might be the only common denominator between all 3 teams.
No, those New York girls, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, we need Brianna Stewart."
Yeah, yeah. No, but they have a tough choice as well,
They
because you could go
do,
Brianna Stewart or you can go with
or it goes
Sabrina,
Sabrina. Yup,
or in all fairness, Lainey Hamilton's having a great year.
that's very true.
So, I don't think she's maybe been involved with the US, setup, but she's still having a pretty
Now
good year.
they yeah, they got a pickle just as much as we had a pickle. Because you can't
Yeah,
forget about, Vandersloot either.
and that's a tough one. And I've still not seen I mean, I know this is the Aces podcast, but who would be a good pickup for us is Ali Quigley, like, off the bench. And and she's not on the team. I mean, last year she said she was taking a year out. This year, I I wonder if she got any offers. I would assume that she probably did.
Yeah,
However, I don't think that offer would have come from New York.
no.
And I think they only play together because obviously they're married and or she's
Mhm.
married to Courtney Vandersloot. So I'd imagine, you don't want to break up the family unit. So I think that
Right.
would be I think that would be quite tough to especially if the other team was Seattle or
Uh-huh.
LA, like, and you're like having to travel coast to coast. They would never get to see each other. So which yeah, that would suck massively. So we're gonna move on In fact, I think what we'll do is we'll talk about some news that has come out. Everyone knows that the Aces are being investigated by the WNBA for this deal that's been done with the tourist board of Vegas and the contracts that have been signed between the players and them. And it's all about this $100,000 deal where the LVCVA are basically paying the players like a sponsorship deal, like you would sign with Nike or you would sign with Gatorade or whoever else.
Yeah.
Just happens to be that this is a local sponsor, and it's worth in total $1 million over 2 years when you kind of include all the players. Now these players have to turn up to things. These players, like any sponsorship deal. But news has come out, and I kind of like this. I think the way it's been put out probably isn't the greatest, and whether
No.
that's the media outlets that picked it up or the WNBA, I'm not sure. But the WNBA has hired a law firm to look into the deal. Now, some people say this is escalating the investigation.
Yeah.
I tend to disagree. I think what the WNBA are doing is they're making it impartial. They're bringing in a law firm who is independent of the WNBA and of the Las Vegas Aces.
Mhm.
So it would stand to reason that this law firm will carry out an investigation, look at the contracts, look at how the approach was made for this to happen, so on and so forth, to make sure no rules have been broken. And as Mark Davis has said, the books are open. Come and have a look.
Yep.
We've got nothing to hide here. He has said that. I mean, he said it quite more forcefully than that, to be fair. But I mean, what do you think? I mean, a law firm coming in. I mean, it does look scary when you start talking lawyers. Like, let's be
Yeah.
honest. Like lawyers are sharks, so it does sound scary. But in actual fact, I don't think it is. I actually think it's a good thing.
My thing, I'm with Mark Davis. Let him look. I mean, if like we both said it before, like if we're gonna be the punching bag for this thing, let us be the punching bag for this thing. This sponsorship has nothing to do with the team. It's all individual with the players. So come, come on, come do it.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the investigations that we've had before.
Yeah.
That with the Derek Hamby trade, Candice Parker coming in, like
Mhm.
obviously that was investigated. He did serve a suspension for alleged comments that she had made, and that's all fine. Like you're good with that. I mean, even like the Liberty, like when they were using chartered
Oh, the
flights,
charter. Yeah.
and they got fined $500,000 for that, but none of those were investigated by like an outside entity. Whereas
No.
I think we've got to the point now that the WNBA is so big that if it's not independent, then people start to question the
Yeah.
results. And because it's not like a cut clear kind of thing that
Yeah.
like the flight thing with the New York Liberty. I mean, that was oh, they're on a flight. They're on a they're on a charter flight. Everyone can see it. But I think no, I actually quite like it. I think it's good. Um, it's tough, but I think overall it's a good thing that they bring in a law firm because I like what you just said with Mark. Come look, like we've got nothing to hide, and in actual fact, we're kind of hoping other cities where teams are based now will maybe look at doing something similar with their teams
Yeah.
and paying those players sponsorship dollars to go do events and turn up to touristy type things. Like
Yeah.
how I mean, women's basketball is on the up and the trajectory is huge. And I actually think Steve Hill, who's the CEO of LVCVA, I actually think like that was a master stroke of genius because you've got
Yeah.
two-time champs in the Las Vegas Aces. Asia's marketable. Kelsey's marketable. In fact, you go through the team, they're all
They all
marketable.
marketable. Yep.
Like, even off the bench. So, I think it was a smart move, and I think when the Aces have heard about it, they've been like, "Well, nothing we can do because you signed your own sponsorship deals anyway, like, you've got your own shoe deal, you've got this, you've got that.
Yep.
So, if they wanna come in and sign you all, then yeah, when you go, like, we don't care."
Yeah.
Well, not that they don't care, but, like, it's nothing to do with the team or the
Yeah.
franchise.
And that and I think that's why the WNBA is just trying to control something or like the situation. And it's like, well, they're trying to make it about the salary cap. Oh, where they getting this money because of the salary cap. But did you guys say that about that $28 million Nike deal? And
Yeah, that's a big deal.
all the other sponsorships that these players have.
Yeah, because some of them have loads of, like, sponsorship deals
Angel
that
Reese has
yeah,
the same thing. Like, is are you guys saying the same thing? Like, why? Because the whole team is getting it. It's a problem.
I think this is maybe that is the thing, maybe because it is
The whole team.
probably the first time that a whole team has been given the same sponsorship deal, potentially. I don't know the history of sponsorship deals because they are exceptionally complicated at the best of times.
Yeah.
So, it is tough to kinda look into that, but I do think that this is important because I think, like Mark kind of said, like, why can't other teams use this
Yeah.
with their cities that they're in? I mean, I think the Seattle Storm are pretty close to like local government in Seattle,
Mhm.
which includes their touristy type board. So who's to say that, next year the Seattle Storm don't sign a similar deal or their players sign a similar deal with their tourist board or even in LA? Because
Yeah.
everyone knows, I mean, I'm surprised in Indiana they don't have it. Like
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, Elia
And I could
Boston.
yeah, easy. And I really could see Seattle and LA doing it.
I can see most teams.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, they're all on the up, and a lot of these players are coming in with NIL money as well,
Yep.
like your
Yep.
Caitlin Clarks and your Angel Reese. Hence, why Angel Reese is able to buy into a soccer team. Like she can go. I mean, she doesn't own it solely, obviously, but
Yeah.
she's put some of her NIL money investing it into a soccer team. It's not even It is a story, but it's not something that the WNBA are gonna get involved in because that's her
Right.
money. Like, it's
Yeah, it's her
hers,
money.
and
Yeah.
she can spend it how she likes. I mean, I think if she was trying to buy into a WNBA team, they'd have an issue, but, it's a soccer team, so it's fine. Uh, but it would make sense. I mean, if she was to buy into the Chicago Sky, like, obviously, that would be a bit of a conflict because I think even
Yeah.
I'm talking a long time ago when Jordan owned
Oh,
the
yeah.
Wizards, or he had an ownership in the Wizards,
Yeah.
and then came out of retirement, and he had to give up his ownership share
Ownership. Yep.
because you couldn't be an owner and a player. Totally makes sense.
Yep.
Lots of conflicts of interest there. I think Jerry Stackhouse, probably the better player on that team by that point, to be fair. Uh, but, but if he still owned the team, he could say, "Well, Jerry, like, you're traded. Like,
Yeah. I
you're out
think
of here," kinda thing.
that'd be like if Sue Bird was to come back to Seattle.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
if
yeah,
sh
she couldn't own the team.
nope.
No. Like, but she could go on the Seattle Reign if she wanted to. Like, that would be
Yeah.
the NWSL team. That would be fine. Like, I get that. Right, we've been putting it off and putting it off, but let's talk about the New York Liberty game. We were at home. You were there in person. We've got some video,
Mm, mm,
which is
mm.
awesome. By the numbers, Kia Stokes turned up and got some rebounds.
Whew, did she? Man,
She got 12. She
I
got
was proud.
0 points, but she really turned up defensively and was tough on the
Yeah.
boards, and she was diving at everything, and this was a
Yeah.
good game for her. we went back to having 4 scorers
She
in
had a
double
really
digits.
she played really good that game. I was like, this is the player I want to see. Like this is the key I want to see. Minus like I don't care about you not making any baskets, but she haven't played like how she played all like that all season.
By the way, she got those rebounds, all 12, in 20 minutes of play. Like,
Yep.
it wasn't like she played 40 minutes. It was 20. It was half the game she
Yeah.
played, which is phenomenal for her, and I'm happy for her. That's what I wanted to finish on a positive for Kia because I'm happy for her. Like, this is what we want.
Yeah.
Like,
That, now
we
just
have other people that
score.
score. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got other people. Like, in this game, we had 4 people who played and scored double digits. We had Kelsey Plum with 22, Asia Wilson with 21. Obviously, Asia gets double teamed every time she gets the ball. Alicia Clark with 13 and Jackie Young with 10. She obviously didn't have the MJ's special stuff for this game.
She's still sick.
She's still sick, to be fair.
Even
Tiff
even Phoenix game, she was still
still pretty bad. Tiffany Hayes, Colson, Kate Martin, Emma Cannon, all on the score sheet. Sadly, Emma Cannon is no longer with the team. She was released. Chelsea Gray is listed on the sheet as coach's decision did not play. Um,
yeah.
I I would rather see her come back next week and
I
give
agree.
her that extra time to. I mean, Chelsea Gray will not say this. Chelsea Gray will be like, "Let me on, let me on, let me on." But I like how Becky is kinda holding her back. Now, does it help our record right now? No. Will it
No.
help us in the playoffs later? Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I'm comfortable with it. The person who had probably the best game that I've seen her have for a long time, Jonquel Jones.
Ooh-wee.
34 points, 8 rebounds. She was shooting 80% from 3, 75% from the field total. I mean, she was just everywhere, like, really, really everywhere. Like,
Shooting
Sabrina's
threes,
yeah,
everything.
everything, and it's hard to watch. She was tough as well. Like, I mean, Kia was only in 20 minutes. Janquel was in for 33. So there was, like, 12 minutes, 13 minutes there that,
Yeah.
Kia
And
couldn't do much about.
this is my beef with us. Who is gonna hold Jonquel? Jackie can I mean Asia can't hold Brianna and Jonquel at the same time.
She
So it's
tries.
like, oh, she tries all the time, but it's like she can't. And it's like, well, I'm gonna take Brianna because height wise, everything game is just a better matchup. And then but you going to put Kia on Jaquel, and it's like we need to be double. She need double.
Yeah. It was a good game all round, I think, for
It
the
was.
most part for the Liberty. Kayla Thornton probably. I mean, she only scored 3 points, a couple of rebounds. She really only played 17 minutes. They kind of went to kill this Leonie Ibish. I'm gonna kill that. I apologize to Leonie for that terrible pronunciation of her name. Hopefully she never hears this. So, like she played 23 minutes. She came in off the bench and was doing a lot. She had 8 points herself. And I think what our criticism of the Aces were for the last couple of years in not using the bench, kinda level this at the Liberty now because you've got 4 players playing plus 34 minutes
Yeah,
and Brianna playing 37. In fact, technically 30. I mean, if you round it up by 9 seconds. So she only had 2 minutes off the floor, which means that 14 points and 12 rebounds, a double-double, it counts obviously for a lot, but,
yeah,
when you when you look at, like, our side, I mean, Asia played 35, close to 36, but the rest were all kind of 31 max. Obviously,
Yeah,
Kia was 20. Tiffany
yeah,
Hayes came in, played 20, and
yeah.
did particularly well. I maybe would have liked to seen Megan Gustafsson play more in this game
Oh,
when I
absolutely.
watched it, because I was kind of like, eh, don't leave it up to Asia to have to guard everyone. Let's give Megan that chance to go up against Yanquil or Brianna. Like even switch them up.
I would have switched them up. I would have just switched them up. I think she would have did really good on Brianna and let Aja hold Jaquel. I wish she would have played more. I wanted her to play more, especially because you got fresh legs. She's coming in hungry and trying to get some stops, trying to get some buckets. I think that would have helped us a lot.
I do as well. I kind of wish we'd seen her more. Tiffany Hayes did a great job as well in this game. I think on the defensive end, but there were some incidents in this game. Well, there was one incident in particular because people will obviously say, "Oh, you're biased," you hate the refs and all this kind of stuff. But there has been some pretty hellacious non-calls this year, not just on the Aces, but like across the league.
Yeah,
But then on the flip side of that, there has been some that have been upgraded to flagrant ones that, yeah, might be questionable. So I do, or even the one on Angel Reese, like it was a flagrant two. I would have said one personally.
yeah.
Uh, but this is tough to watch. So this is one on Kelsey Plum. So we'll let you decide how hellacious this one is.
Am I don't know how you can miss
Oh
this.
my goodness,
A
she gets
horse collar.
rung around the neck.
Yes.
Well, that's an egregious missed call. Oh my goodness.
Am I don't know how.
I mean, it was absolutely terrible. Like it's a terrible play, and not even playing for the ball. No call,
Yeah,
absolutely no call. And I'm kind of like, I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at some of the calls that we've seen in other games where you've. I mean, that's a flagrant one for me because it's
yeah.
excessive and unnecessary, and like you literally have just yanked her around you.
She said,
Like,
people's
why not?
elbowed her,
Yeah, like why not just get in her headlock and be done with it? Like, come on, like,
clothesliner.
like a just clothesline her, jeez. Uh, like, nah, I just think this one was egregious. I don't usually go on about the refs because I think you can blame the refs all you want, but at the end of the day, you still need to score more points than the other team to win. But plays like that, I feel that's a dangerous play, and I think the
Oh,
WNBA should be looking at that one.
yeah, and it's like they didn't call it, they just continued to play. Kelsey's, like, on the ground. When I say the crowd went crazy, like, even us in the press box, we all just sitting up here like this with our hands up like, "How did you miss that call? How do you not call that? You call everything else, but you don't call that." And
Yeah,
everybody chanting, "Ref, you suck."
and
The
that's
amount of
just
time.
that's just fun for the crowd, though.
But it was so bad to the point where, we had our dancers come out, the high rollers. They couldn't even get the crowd to everybody was like it was like a mixed crowd. Everyone was still upset, but everybody's cheering because it's like we love this dance group, but it was like, no, we mad. Because why did you not call that?
Yeah, it was. It's pretty shocking, and that kind of no call is dangerous because it can also. I mean, that was quite early in the game as well, so like it can set a bad precedent for a game because
Yeah.
if players realize that well they're not going to call that, they're going to keep doing stuff. Like now, it didn't happen in this
Mhm.
game. In all fairness, because I think we're all adults. But if you're in a kids game, like I've coached under 18s, under 16s. If you're in a kids game, and I've seen it happen, and refs don't call stuff, I warned 2 refs once. I said, "Look, this game's gonna be physical. They're a really physical team. We are too. I don't care who you call the fouls on, but you're gonna need to call fouls early to make
Yep.
sure, like, things don't get out of hand. By the 3rd quarter, they'd thrown one of our players off the court, then we'd thrown one of theirs off the court, and yeah, it just got nasty, and the referees looked at me like, "Oh, you need to get your players under control." I was like, "No, you need to get the game under control."
Yeah.
And, like, I warned you, I told you this was gonna happen, and then the other coach is mouthing off in my ear, but, um, he's a jackass anyway. But, like, I just don't get why they didn't call this. Like, this is a silly no call. I know the referees are monitored and, they are evaluated. So, hopefully, like, this does get looked at. Doesn't help us in this game. But let's be
No.
honest, it's one foul. Like, it's not gonna turn around the score. Let's
Oh,
be honest.
absolutely.
So,
No.
and I'm not saying that it would, because I know that some people might take what I'm saying as, "Oh, well, you just wanted that so you can win the game." No, I don't think we would still have won the game. I still think the Liberty would have
No.
won the game
Yeah,
regardless.
we still would have lost because it was mistakes on our end that we were making, and that was not defense. I'm gonna keep saying it because our defense is trash this year. Is non-existent, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
Now, it did
yeah,
get a reaction in the post-game press conference, from Asia Wilson, which you managed to get some video of. So we're gonna play
yeah,
that now. Um, and I think it speaks to just Asia's desire and willingness to do anything for her team.
I put myself out there on the front because I don't want my teammates, and here I go, because I love them so much. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And I don't even know why I'm crying. But I love my teammates so much that I will take any hit from them. Good, bad, ugly. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world. That's great. It looks great. But I want to be the best person. I want to be the best teammate because that's how I get the best out of my team. So when it comes to wins, losses, when I tell you I break this game down piece by piece because I want to be great for you guys. No offense, but I want to be great for my team. I want to be great for this franchise. It is hard as shit. It is hard as shit because there's tons of people that want to break you down. Great teams in this league that are going to try to come after you every single night. But when it comes to taking accountability, I have no problem in that because I want to be great. I want to be great for my teammates. So yes, it can start in practice. Yes, it starts in training camp. Yes, it starts in the wins and the losses. But I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna continue to challenge myself and my teammates every single day. Because when you're talking about greatness, it starts with consistency. Everybody can be good here and there, but who can be great every single game, every possession? And that's what I'm striving for. And it's hard as shit. I promise y'all, it's hard as shit.
Like, I think it's across really what it means to Asia to be a teammate on the Aces. Like, it's emotional for her because, like, she genuinely loves this team. She loves the players. She loves the coach. And I don't think this is anything that we've not heard from her before. But I think, the
yeah,
criticisms that the team's come under, like, she's basically telling everyone, like, you want to be great, you're gonna have to go to war with us.
yeah. And she's basically carrying that team on her back right now. And just by her saying that too, it goes. Everybody has nothing but good things to say about her. Her whole team will tell you like, oh, she's a leader. I think the last press conference, Kate was just said basically, "Hey, I have the best player in the world right now, being a leader, being just a good teammate. Having that sister bond, like making like that team is like a family. So the chemistry, ages the goat, and that when she said that made me like her 20 times more.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. And it's a really good way to end the show with Asia Wilson and say, like, her just desire to not just be a good player, but a good person as well. And I think that's so, so important.
Yeah,
So we will be back next week. Looking forward to another week of WNBA games. And I mean, we've not even had time to talk about who we've got coming up, but you'll be there, which is awesome. And we will catch you all next week.